Hello, I am Jan from Prague, the Czech Republic, and today we are taking a closer look at the Honor 600 Pro, an upper mid-range phone with a 200 megapixel main sensor and 3.5 times optical zoom. We'll see how it performs in the real world, and as always, I'll be showing you everything through over 200 test photos, from the mountains in spring to the colorful gardens of Old Prague. Let's get started. I suggest we start with an overview of lenses and sensors. Obviously, the most important part of this mobile phone is the main lens, main sensor. It has 24 millimeters and 200 megapixels, which means it'll be a perfect tool for landscape photography, as you can see here from the mountains of Moravia. And indeed, you'll be able to use it in the portrait mode like I do here, not only for people, but also for dogs, either my dog or her friend. And be ready for many photos of peacocks, which you might know I really like to shoot for reviews like that. So these are just examples of what to expect from the main lens, main sensor. We'll spend in scenes like that many more minutes. You'll see dozens of photos from this lens, from the sensor, but this is just an introduction to what to expect from this mobile phone and its main sensor. And yes, we are testing during spring, so do expect a lot of coffee, a lot of sunshine and a lot of colors, like here in the center of Prague. Then we have the second lens, second sensor, which is a telephoto lens. It has 80 millimeters, which means it's 3.5 times optical zoom, and it has 50 megapixels, which again gives us a perfect opportunity to play with photos like that, where the big resolution of the sensor really makes sense. Not only here perhaps, but also here in the downtown Prague, where every single detail counts. And as I mentioned, be ready for a lot of peacocks, because I love to use these beautiful animals in the garden just under the Prague castle to be a great target of my testing shots. So peacocks, dogs, and yes, here is the difference between normal photo and a portrait mode photos. We'll see many more examples. And let's jump to the mountains. Again, the telephoto lens, of course, will be useful for situations like that when we simply need to zoom, and you'll see many more examples of zooming in a couple of minutes, but also it's useful for details and flowers, and just be ready for many more examples. And then there is the third lens, third sensor, which is ultra wide, and it has 16 millimeters and 12 megapixels, which might sound less, obviously, than 200 megapixels in the case of the main lens, main sensor, and 50 megapixels, which the telephoto has. But still, even 12 megapixels, of course, is enough for photos like that, or at church, during daylight, or at night. So again, this is a very useful tool. I love using ultra-wide lens for shots like this, or even for peacocks, where I am able to get a lot of information to one frame. Peacocks or ships in the center of Prague. As always, let's see what to expect from the zooming capabilities of this mobile phone. So, first example, a beautiful late afternoon. We are able to go from the ultra wide, it's the 0.6, up to 3.5 and 7, and then, yes, we can go up to 120, which is right here. It's interesting, by the way, how the AI is able to sharpen the outcome just a second or two after you took the shot. Here are the photos. This is the ultra wide, and we are getting up towards the church. This is still a pretty good result, I guess. Obviously, once we cross a certain border, then the quality goes down. This is 120. One more example, Prague, and quite interesting look at the Prague castle from very surprising angle. So let's see the real photos. We are going from ultra wide again, going up to 120, which is right here. One of my favorite testing places here in Prague. So this is ultra wide, and I'm getting to short distance, going up, and this is 120. Yes, of course, you won't be able to see a huge amount of details, but still, you're able to tell what the time is. And again, look at how far are One more test, macro mode. So this is the first option, first possibility, and I'm just using a normal camera which turned on the macro mode, and this is quite interesting. Beetle, or if you want, you are able to activate super macro mode here, and then you are able to get even bigger details. Let's see the results. Here is the beetle. By the way, you might be surprised, but that beetle is poisonous, so do not touch it. It's called black oil beetle. One more example, that lovely flower, and again, I'm not using the super macro mode, I'm just using the normal macro, which, as you see, activates automatically. You are able to turn it on, turn it off. We are playing with this, we are experimenting. Sometimes it's really worth doing that. If you like filters, if you like styles, please do check that option. Again, you won't be surprised because this is something which Honor and other mobile phones have for years. You are able first to set default style. That's one important step. But if you find these default shots to be boring, you're able to turn on even these wilder options. I personally do not like it much, but do definitely try it. You might find nice colors or nice options. Here are some examples from the gardens of Prague, and well, you might hear from my voice that I'm not a big fan of these filters, but they might look nice. So why don't we just try it? Please do not forget that this mobile phone is capable of shooting to 200 megapixels, since it can be useful under certain circumstances. Let's try it here. This is a normal photo. It has only 12 megapixels, which is fine, of course. But if you, for some reason, decide that you want to crop it or you want to get really a lot of details, well, you can read this, but the quality is not exciting. But if I activate the full resolution, look at this. Suddenly, we are able to get a photo with 200 megapixels, which means that there is many more details. So this is 12 megapixels, 200 megapixels. Yes, clearly the difference is there. And you won't be shooting letters, so you won't be shooting things like this. But one of the really good examples are shots like that, when you might want to capture a lot of details for, well, printing the photo, for instance. So typically I would not be using it much, but sometimes it can really bring some new perspective, give you more creativity. What happened right now is that I'm inviting you for a trip through Prague and the mountains of Moravia, and what I'm trying to do is to show you as many photos as I'm able to do. And we are starting here in my favorite peacock garden, where you probably might have been many times before, because I love going back here. I love testing what to expect from normal shooting or from portrait modes, which are actually used here. And I was really lucky because, as you already seen at the very beginning, I was able to shoot some beautiful shots on which the peacocks is showing us all these fantastic feathers. And so it's here, and this is one of the scenes where ultra-wide lens can really be handy. You can't even see it's ultra-wide, but yes, trust me, it is. And we are able to squeeze a lot of information into one frame. Yes, most of the time I would be using portrait or normal photos, but sometimes ultra-wide can really help. And let's move further, let's see some flowers, and let's test what can we do here in the streets of Prague during spring, and some interesting colors, interesting yellow penguins, and my coffee break. And yes, this is a sort of boring shot, and I'm not telling it's exciting, but I like taking photos like that because you're able to use them as a good example of what to expect. Once you decide, you go to the streets, you can, well, shoot whatever you want. So nice colors, nice light, and yes, quite decent results. So we are slowly walking through the streets of Prague, taking random shots, enjoying first sunshine of the spring. And yes, of course, these shots are a little bit boring. But again, the point is not to show you Prague. The point is to give you a chance to see what to expect if you decide to buy this mobile phone and just walk around Prague. And yes, of course, this is ultra wide again, and a great tram and a lot of details and quite interesting shot from one of the rooftops in the center of Prague. And now we jumped away from Prague and welcome to the mountains of Moravia, which I really love. And again, in springtime, it's amazing how easily we are able to test mobile phones here, because pretty much if you are lucky like me, for great light, great weather, anything you shoot in these locations will look great. So mountains of Moravia, a lot of green colors, a lot of interesting scenes, and yes, of course, my dog and her friends here. You should not be using ultra-wide lens for photos like that, but sometimes they can really bring a lot of creativity into the result. So yes, why not? This is a normal angle, normal shot, and it's much better. And you can guess it, this is a portrait mode. And a dog and a fallen tree, and really good example of how you can play with light and colors and dogs. This is a rather specific example because you can clearly see that the mobile phone is able to cope with a rather tough mission, because the dog is white and black and he's partly hidden in shadows, but still it's quite nice shot. Some more shots from the mountains of Moravia, and the spring is getting its strength, and yes, I love taking shots here. So some more colors. And since I was testing during springtime, of course, I really loved testing on flowers and blossoms, which spring brings to the mountains. A couple of examples. And again, I really like experimenting with different angles. This is, yes, again, ultra-wide lens, flowers, bees, trees and colors. And finally, my dog is very happy because she just jumped over a fence and she's really proud of herself. And I'm proud of myself as well, so I got a beer, and let's see some more shots from the spring forests. And yeah, this is quite interesting how well the mobile phone was able to get colors and shades and shadows here. And by the way, if you watch this on a good display, you should be able to see this in HDR, which means that you'll be able to see colors and lights and all these fantastic glowing clouds in the pretty much same way like I do in my computer, and in the same way I saw them in my mobile phone. And finally, final shots from our trip at church during blue hour, and you know that I love that part of the day because everything is blue or yellow, and that roughly 25 minutes after sunset is a fantastic option to take amazing shots like I did here. And now I'd like to show you a couple of examples of videos, and if you've seen some of my reviews, you already know what's coming now. What's coming now is that I have to apologize because I am not as good in evaluating videos as I am well, in evaluating photos. So the best thing I can do is exactly what I am doing right now. So as I speak, I am showing you some examples of video clips I took with this mobile phone, and it's up to you to decide if you like them or not. They are in HDR, they are in 4K, so pretty much the maximum quality you are able to get. So again, if you watch them on a good display, you should see exactly what I've seen, and I can guarantee you won't be disappointed. So thank you so much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed my video. Take care. I am Jan from Prague, the Czech Republic.